Hi everyone, welcome to another House Rules Review. My name is Jonathan Dover. Today we're going to talk about Star Trek Conflick in the Neutral Zone. Now this game is by WizKids. It is a dexterity game. Basically it's flicking Star Trek ships across the board in order to collect dilithium crystals, which if you're familiar with Star Trek, those are a form of energy, and also command points, which are what win you the game. I was really intrigued when I saw the announcement for this game because I love the Star Trek theme, and so for me, I thought that was going to be really cool. My daughter, we don't have as many games for her now since we moved, and I thought the dexterity game for her might be fun and enjoyable. So we're going to take a look at how this plays. That's what I'm doing today, is a how to play video of Star Trek Conflick. So I'm going to tilt this down so you guys can see the board, see basic setup, and we'll talk about how you play. So I've got it set up here basically for the two-player game, right? I have one side set up. You can't see the other side, but you have the Federation on one side, and then you have the Klingon Empire on the other side. For the two-player board, this board's reversible, by the way, so you can play 4 players or 2 players on this board, and then it flips over. I'll show you that in a minute for 3 players. So it's very versatile. But you start out with a couple of starting ships. Everyone starts out with 4 starting ships, 2 like this. This is the Federation version, and they have a little icon showing that they're a circular ship, and basically these are collector ships. Then you also have these Federation ships, which have an octagonal icon there, and those show that those are basically assault craft or battling ships. And so what you do on your turn is you're taking these ships, you have a pool of ships that are ready to go, right, that are your fleet that you can deploy. You'll also have a pool of ships that are in the scrapyard as you destroy ships throughout the game. But on your turn, you can flick any ships that are already on the board, or you can also deploy up to 2 ships. Now, in addition to that, you can pick up any ships that were already on the board. So, if the board looked something, say, like this, where I had maybe a circular guy here, and my Enterprise is way over here, out in the other side of the board on the Klingon territory, right? Because the board's split in half. And I had maybe one here, and there was maybe a Klingon piece here. I can choose to pick up my ships that are currently on the board and put them back into my pool, which allows me to basically play them back out as part of my deploys. Then from there, I can also I can collect my resources. So I've got my yellow planet, right? And any circular ships that are touching this planet in any way, even if it's just a little bit, they get an extra crystal. You always get 1 crystal for your turn, and then any ships that you have on a yellow planet give you an extra crystal for the circular ships. Assault craft don't do that. Any of these circular guys that are on a purple planet give you a command point. A game is usually 10 command points. That's kind of flexible in the sense that if you're playing 4 players, you want to play a faster game, or you're playing with a child and you want to play a shorter game, you can make that more or less, but the base game is 10 command points. So you collect your resources, and then from there you can purchase ships if you want. Now there's always a row of ships here. There are 4 ships in that row, and they're Federation or Klingon. They'll have a cost in the corner here. So like this is the Dauntless, it costs 2. This is its special ability. Each ship has a special ability, and then we'll have a coordinating piece for it. So if I'm going to purchase this ship, I would pay 2 crystals, and then I would claim this card and put it in my section of cards that are available, and put the coordinating piece in my pool. Then I would flip a new card up to replace that one in the market, and that one came up as the Excelsior, which I think is this guy right here. Anyway, and you can see that some of these are much larger and some are smaller, just depending on what you're purchasing. Now, when I do my turn, if there are ships that are already on the board like this, once I've purchased a card during the deploy and move, I can flick any ships of mine that are on the board. That was a very poor one, but you get the idea. I can also deploy 2 ships, and they deploy from my edge of the board forward like this, somewhere in there, and then once I have placed them, I can flick them too. I'm not very good at this game, as you can see, but I do enjoy the theme. Lastly, you can also place asteroids. They can be placed anywhere within at least the width of a ship of yours. You'll have 2 asteroids that you start the game with. You can only place or move an asteroid each turn. Now, moving is nice because in addition to placing them, if my opponent has one, say here, and he's blocking the way, I can move it and move it behind me, for example. So I can do that too. This is just a little range counter. And then also, any ships that die or are destroyed go to your shipyard, and at the end of your turn, they all go back into your fleet. And the way a ship dies is either it gets knocked off the board, right, then it's destroyed, or if it's sitting on a planet and another ship comes along and knocks it completely off the planet, then that ship is also destroyed. Now, these circular ships, the collectors, can't destroy another ship. One of 2 things happens if they collide with a ship. If they collide with a ship, say like in this instance I have 2 collectors, if it would collide and knock it off, then his isn't destroyed, mine is destroyed instead, because I basically collided with another ship. If they would hit, but they're not knocked off and neither would be destroyed, it's just a slight collision and nothing really happens. So yeah, I mean, that's more or less the game. It's pretty straightforward, but I thought that the theme was really cool. They did a great job with bringing in a bunch of different ships. They have tons of different Klingon ships and Federation ships. The Defiant is in here. The Reliant from Wrath of Khan is in here. They have Kronos 1 from the Undiscovered Country is in here. So if you're Star Trekky, definitely you're going to like the theme of this game. I will point out for those folks too, this is not in any kind of timeline order. As you saw, there was mixing of ships from all kinds of timelines. Disregard that. But I love how they did a good job with the cards. Each card has a special power. They all do something different. There's one that has shields, so you put your finger on the piece, and then when someone tries to flick at it, you're holding it down so it just doesn't move, which it basically has shields, which is cool. They did a good job with all that kind of stuff. So, Star Trek Conflick, it's a fun, easy flicking game. Hope you enjoyed this video of how to play it. If you have any questions, please shoot them to me in the comments below. I'll have some links for other videos here too. If you like what I'm seeing, what I'm doing, what you're seeing, definitely subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Keep gaming. We'll see you next time.